Welcome to the Left Library, where we simplify political philosophy, political economy, and political science. Today we're diving into Georg Lukács's influential work, History and Class Consciousness, published in 1923. This seminal text explores the theory of class consciousness and the concept of reification of social relations under capitalism. Lukács's ideas offer profound insights into the dynamics of class struggle and the nature of social relations in capitalist societies. In this video, we'll explore several key concepts from history and class consciousness. Main concepts in history and class consciousness. Theory of class consciousness. Lukács begins by addressing the concept of class consciousness, which he defines as the awareness by a social class of its own position and interests within the broader social and historical context. He argues that the proletariat, or working class, has the unique potential to achieve class consciousness because of its direct relationship to the means of production and its constant experience of exploitation. Lukács writes, "Class consciousness is not merely an awareness of one's class interests, but a recognition of one's historical role in the transformation of society," p. 55. This class consciousness is essential for the proletariat to realize its revolutionary potential. Lukács emphasizes that the proletariat struggle is not just for economic improvements, but for the complete overthrow of the capitalist system. He argues that the development of class consciousness involves moving from a fragmented individualistic perspective to a collective understanding of social dynamics and historical processes. This shift enables the working class to see itself as the agent of revolutionary change. Lukács also highlights the role of ideology in shaping class consciousness. He argues that the ruling class uses ideology to obscure the true nature of social relations and to maintain its dominance. Ideological constructs like individualism, meritocracy, and consumerism serve to divide and pacify the working class, preventing it from recognizing its collective power. Lukács writes, "The dominant ideology transforms the objective conditions of exploitation into subjective experiences of powerlessness," p. 63. Overcoming this ideological mystification is crucial for the proletariat to develop a revolutionary consciousness. Furthermore, Lukács discusses the process of achieving class consciousness as a dialectical and dynamic process. He argues that class consciousness is not a static state, but an ongoing development that evolves through the struggles and experiences of the working class. This process involves both theoretical reflection and practical engagement, as the proletariat learns from its actions and refines its understanding of its historical mission. Reification and its implications. A central theme in history and class consciousness is the concept of reification, which refers to the process by which social relations are objectified and commodified under capitalism. Lukács argues that reification is a fundamental characteristic of capitalist society, where human relations and activities are transformed into things or commodities. He writes, "Reification is the central structural problem of capitalist society," p. 86. Reification leads to a distortion of human experience and social relations. Under capitalism, people are reduced to commodities valued only for their exchange value in the market. This process dehumanizes individuals as their social interactions are mediated by the impersonal forces of the market. Lukács argues that reification obscures the true nature of social relations, making them appear as natural and immutable rather than as products of specific historical and social conditions. Lukács emphasizes that reification is not just an economic phenomenon, but permeates all aspects of social life, including culture, politics, and ideology. He writes, "The entire social structure becomes permeated with the commodity form," p. 92. This pervasive reification leads to a fragmentation of consciousness, where individuals see themselves as isolated and powerless within an alien and hostile world. Overcoming reification requires a radical transformation of consciousness, where individuals come to recognize the social and historical forces that shape their existence. Lukács also explores the implications of reification for class struggle and revolutionary praxis. He argues that reification serves to maintain the dominance of the ruling class by masking the exploitative nature of capitalist relations. By transforming social relations into impersonal and objective forms, Reification makes it difficult for the working class to perceive the true nature of its exploitation and to develop a revolutionary consciousness. Lukcács writes, reification creates a veil that obscures the exploitative foundations of capitalist society, p. 99. Overcoming this veil is a key task for the proletarian movement. Moreover, Lukcács contends that reification affects not only the proletariat, but also the bourgeoisie and intellectuals. He argues that the bourgeoisie, despite its economic power, is also trapped within the logic of reification, unable to see beyond the immediate demands of capital accumulation. Similarly, intellectuals who operate within the framework of bourgeois thought are limited in their capacity to grasp the totality of social relations and to envision revolutionary alternatives. Totality and dialectical method. Lukcács emphasizes the importance of totality and the dialectical method for understanding social phenomena. He argues that bourgeois thought tends to fragment reality into isolated static categories, which prevents a comprehensive understanding of social dynamics. In contrast, the dialectical method seeks to grasp the totality of social relations, recognizing their dynamic and interconnected nature. Lukcács writes, "The dialectical method is the only way to capture the totality of social life, p. 122. The concept of totality involves seeing society as an interconnected whole, where each part is understood in relation to the others and to the overall structure." Lukcács argues that this perspective is essential for understanding the dynamics of class struggle and the contradictions of capitalist society. He writes, "Totality is the all-encompassing structure of society within which every individual phenomenon must be situated, p. 130. By focusing on totality, the dialectical method reveals the underlying connections and contradictions that drive historical change." Lukcács criticizes the positivist and empiricist approaches of bourgeois social science, which he argues are incapable of grasping the totality of social relations. These approaches tend to focus on isolated facts and superficial appearances, missing the deeper structural dynamics of society. Lukcács writes, bourgeois thought reduces social phenomena to isolated facts, thereby obscuring the underlying structures and processes, p. 138. In contrast, the dialectical method seeks to uncover the underlying forces and contradictions that shape social reality. The dialectical method also involves a dynamic and historical perspective, recognizing that social relations are constantly changing and evolving. Lukcács argues that understanding social phenomena requires situating them within their historical context and tracing their development over time. This historical approach reveals the contingent and temporary nature of social structures, highlighting the potential for transformative change. Lukcács writes, "The dialectical method reveals the historical and transitory nature of social relations, opening up the possibility for revolutionary transformation, p. 145. Furthermore, Lukcács emphasizes the role of consciousness and subjectivity in the dialectical method. He argues that human beings are not passive objects of social forces, but active agents who can shape their own destiny. This perspective challenges deterministic views that see social change as the automatic result of economic forces, highlighting the importance of human agency and revolutionary praxis. Critique of bourgeois thought. Lukcács provides a thorough critique of bourgeois thought, which he argues is fundamentally limited in its ability to understand the dynamics of capitalist society. He contends that bourgeois thought is characterized by its reified and fragmented approach, which reduces social phenomena to isolated, static categories. This approach prevents a comprehensive understanding of the totality of social relations and the contradictions that drive historical change. Lukcács writes, "Bourgeois thought is unable to grasp the totality of social relations, as it is confined within the limits of the capitalist mode of production," p. 159. He argues that bourgeois social science, with its emphasis on empirical data and positivist methods, fails to capture the deeper structural dynamics of society. This limitation is a reflection of the ideological constraints of bourgeois thought, which serves to maintain the existing social order by obscuring its contradictions and exploitative nature. Lukács also critiques the ethical and philosophical dimensions of bourgeois thought, arguing that it is inherently conservative and incapable of envisioning radical change. He writes, "Bourgeois ethics is fundamentally conservative as it seeks to justify and preserve the existing social order," p. 167. This conservatism is rooted in the reified consciousness of the bourgeoisie, which is unable to see beyond the immediate demands of capital accumulation and individual self-interest. Furthermore, Lukács critiques the concept of individualism that is central to bourgeois thought. He argues that individualism is a product of reification, which isolates individuals from their social context and obscures the collective nature of human existence. Lukács writes, "Individualism is a reified abstraction that conceals the social and collective dimensions of human life," p. 175. This critique highlights the importance of recognizing the interconnectedness of individuals within the broader social and historical context. Lukács's critique of bourgeois thought also extends to the intellectual practices and institutions that support it. He argues that academia, media, and other cultural institutions play a key role in reproducing and legitimizing bourgeois ideology. These institutions often present themselves as neutral and objective, but in reality they reinforce the dominant social order by shaping public consciousness and promoting hegemonic ideas. Lukács writes, "Intellectual institutions are not neutral, but serve to reproduce and legitimize the ideological hegemony of the ruling class," p. 183. Revolutionary praxis. Finally, Lukács discusses the concept of revolutionary praxis, emphasizing the active role of the proletariat in transforming society. He argues that revolutionary praxis involves both theoretical reflection and practical action, as the working class seeks to understand and change the conditions of its own exploitation. Lukács writes, "Revolutionary praxis is the unity of theory and practice, where the proletariat becomes the conscious agent of historical change," p. 199. Lukács emphasizes that revolutionary praxis requires a deep understanding of the dynamics of capitalist society and the contradictions that drive historical change. This understanding is achieved through the development of class consciousness, where the proletariat comes to recognize its own historical role and the necessity of revolutionary action. Lukács writes, "Class consciousness is the awareness of one's historical role and the necessity of revolutionary transformation," p. 206. Revolutionary praxis also involves the active engagement of the proletariat in political struggle. Lukács argues that the working class must organize itself and build institutions that can challenge the dominance of the ruling class. This includes trade unions, political parties, and other forms of collective organization that can mobilize the working class and coordinate its actions. Lukács writes, "The proletariat must build its own institutions and organizations to challenge the dominance of the ruling class," p. 213. Furthermore, Lukács highlights the importance of revolutionary leadership and strategy. He argues that the proletarian movement requires effective leadership to navigate the complexities of class struggle and to develop strategies that can advance the revolutionary cause. This leadership must be rooted in a deep understanding of the dialectical method and the dynamics of capitalist society. Lukács writes, "Revolutionary leadership must be grounded in a dialectical understanding of social relations and the dynamics of class struggle," p. 221. Finally, Lukács emphasizes the importance of solidarity and collective action in revolutionary praxis. He argues that the strength of the proletarian movement lies in its ability to unite and mobilize diverse social groups around a common goal. This requires building alliances and fostering a sense of solidarity that transcends individual and sectional interests. Lukács writes, "Solidarity and collective action are the foundation of revolutionary praxis and the key to overcoming the divisions imposed by capitalist society," p. 229. Conclusion. Georg Lukács's History and Class Consciousness is a foundational text for understanding the dynamics of class struggle and the nature of social relations in capitalist societies. For those new to Lukács's ideas, it offers a comprehensive introduction to key concepts such as class consciousness, reification, and the dialectical method. For those familiar with these ideas, it provides deeper insights into the critique of bourgeois thought and the strategies for revolutionary praxis. Lukács challenges us to rethink the nature of consciousness, social relations, and revolutionary action, emphasizing the importance of totality and the dialectical method for understanding and transforming society. His analysis underscores the need for a comprehensive approach that integrates theoretical reflection with practical engagement, recognizing the active role of the proletariat in shaping history. So what do you think about Lukács's concepts of class consciousness and reification? How do you see his ideas applying to contemporary struggles for social and economic justice? We'd love to hear your thoughts and perspectives on these questions. Drop your comments below and let's start a conversation. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Georg Lukács's history and class consciousness. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends and fellow enthusiasts of political philosophy, political economy, and political science. Don't forget to subscribe to the Left Library for more in-depth reviews and discussions on influential works in these fields. Click the notification bell so you never miss an update. We simplify political philosophy, political economy, and political science to make them accessible and engaging for everyone. Thank you again for watching. And remember, understanding the theories behind social change is the first step towards making a real difference. Keep questioning, keep learning, and keep striving for a better world.